Alright, gentlemen. Let's have a frank conversation, just you and me. Have you ever woken up, reached for that first cup of coffee, and felt like it was doing less and less for you? That morning ritual we count on to get us going. But the energy just isn't the same. And maybe, in the quiet moments, you've noticed that other things in the morning aren't quite what they used to be either. I think we both understand what I'm referring to here. It's a feeling many men share, but very few talk about. But here's the frightening truth that nobody discusses over breakfast. That daily cup of coffee, while it feels like a solution, might actually be masking a slow, quiet decline that's happening inside your body. And this is the nightmare that creeps up on us. While we're busy living our lives, our testosterone levels are quietly dropping. Our blood vessels, the very lifelines of our masculine health, are getting less flexible. That quick caffeine hit becomes nothing more than a band-aid on a broken pipe, a temporary fix that does nothing to address the real issue. But what if I told you that the most powerful solution doesn't come in a prescription bottle? As a urologist, Dr. Emily Warren, with over a decade of experience helping thousands of men navigate these exact challenges, I can tell you this. Sometimes the most profound medicine is already sitting in your kitchen cabinet. I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about real men, with real stories. It makes me think of my patient, John, a hardworking 58-year-old contractor from Ohio. He came into my office, looking tired, and told me he felt like he was constantly running on fumes. He'd almost accepted that his best years were behind him. His story might sound very familiar to you. In this video, I promise to show you how to turn your simple morning coffee into a powerhouse for your vitality. We will break down, step by step, the simple, inexpensive ingredients, most of which you can get for just a few dollars, that can fundamentally change how you feel all day long. And please, make sure you watch until the very end. Because the final secret I'll share is the exact 3-ingredient starter formula and the simple 30-day plan that John followed. In his own words, it was the thing that finally flipped the switch back on. Everything I share today is backed by real, peer-reviewed studies, not internet rumors or unproven fads. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of you have felt this way. If what I just shared feels familiar, please comment a simple yes below. It shows me you understand, and it shows the other men in this community that they are not alone. Okay, let's get started. Alright, let's dive into our list of 5 premium ingredients to upgrade your morning coffee. Ingredient number 1. Cinnamon, the silent protector. Let's talk about something that happens silently inside all of us, every single day. The roller coaster of blood sugar. It's a ride we don't even realize we're on. You eat breakfast, maybe some toast or a bowl of cereal, you feel a burst of energy from the food in your coffee. And then by mid-morning, you feel that slump. That sudden need for another cup, or maybe something sweet, just to get you through to lunch. This up and down cycle isn't just tiring. It's quietly damaging your body in a way that is especially dangerous for men over 60. Here's what's happening on a microscopic level. When your blood sugar spikes, a process called glycation occurs. Now, that's a fancy word, but I want you to imagine something very simple. Imagine your blood slowly turning thick, almost like maple syrup. This sugary, sticky blood gums up your vessels. It's like fine grit sandpaper, constantly scraping away at the delicate lining of your arteries, day after day. And which blood vessels are the most fragile? The smallest ones. The ones that are thinner than a human hair, the ones that are essential for a man's performance and healthy circulation to the extremities. They are always the first to get damaged by this relentless, sugary tide. Now, why is this especially critical for us after 60? It's because, as we age, our body's ability to manage sugar simply isn't what it used to be. Our pancreas works a little harder for the same result, and our cells can become a bit more resistant to insulin. This makes us far more vulnerable to the damage caused by these daily blood sugar swings. This isn't just about big medical events down the road. It's about that feeling of your energy crashing after lunch. That brain fog that rolls in mid-afternoon. That nagging sense that you just don't have the steady stamina you once did. But there's good news, and it's backed by solid science. This isn't just wishful thinking. Studies, like those published in respected journals such as Diabetes Care, have shown that cinnamon can reduce fasting blood sugar by up to an incredible 29%. It contains powerful compounds called polyphenol that help smooth out that roller coaster, keeping your levels steady and protecting those vital, tiny blood vessels from harm. It reminds me so clearly of my patient, Bill. He's a 62-year-old contractor, a wonderful man who has worked with his hands his whole life. He sat in my office, with that familiar sigh I've heard 1,000 times, and he told me, "Doc, by 2 o'clock I'm just done. I look at my tools and feel like I need a nap more than another job." His energy was completely unreliable. We talked about his diet, and then we talked about his coffee. He started with this one simple change. A few weeks later, he came back for a follow-up, and he had a different light in his eyes. He looked me square in the eye and said, "It's the difference between needing that nap and having the energy to actually finish my paperwork and then go home and play with my grandkids in the yard. That, right there, that is what this is all about." So, how do you put this silent protector to work? It's incredibly simple. Just a 1/4 teaspoon, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon if you enjoy the taste, in your coffee each morning. But here is a critical detail that most people miss, and it is very important. Not all cinnamon is created equal. The common, dark reddish-brown cinnamon you find in most grocery store shakers is called cassia. It's fine in small amounts. But if you're doing this every day, you want to look for Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon. It's a lighter tan color and sometimes called true cinnamon. The reason is that cassia contains higher levels of a compound called coumarin, which can be hard on your liver over time. Ceylon has very little. It might cost $1 or $2 more at the store, but for your long-term daily health, it is absolutely worth it. This isn't some new age trend. Think about traditional Mexican or Middle Eastern coffee. They've been adding this warm, wonderful spice for centuries. They understood its benefits long before we had the clinical studies to prove it. If you understand the importance of keeping your blood sugar stable for long-term vitality, please take a moment and comment with the word health below. Ingredient number 2. Cocoa powder. The switch for vitality. Now, let's talk about the master switch. Inside every man, there is a biological switch that controls blood flow, energy, and the very essence of masculine vitality. When you're young, this switch is always on. It works effortlessly. But as the years go by, for many men, that switch can start to flicker. It becomes less reliable. The problem is, after the age of 50, our body's production of the key molecule that controls this switch, a molecule called nitric oxide, can drop by as much as half. That's a staggering 50% decline. This isn't your fault. It's a natural, biological process of aging, but it has profound consequences. So what exactly is this nitric oxide? I want you to picture the vast network of blood vessels in your body like a system of highways. Nitric oxide is the master traffic controller. It's the signal that tells the walls of those highways to relax, to widen, and to let the traffic, your life-giving blood, flow freely and powerfully to wherever it's needed most. When production of this signal drops, the highways narrow. The flow becomes restricted. This is the core, physical reason why erections can become less firm and less reliable over time. The signal simply isn't strong enough to open the floodgates. And why does this happen as we get older? The delicate lining of our blood vessels, called the endothelium, is where nitric oxide is produced. Over the decades, this lining simply becomes less efficient. It's like a factory that has been running non-stop for 60 years. Its output naturally declines. This leads directly to those frustrating physical symptoms. But it goes deeper. Many men don't realize that poor circulation also affects their mind and their mood. That feeling of being less in the game, that slight dip in your competitive spirit or your general optimism, it can often be linked back to this same root cause. But what if you could help your body flip that master switch back on? This is where cocoa powder comes in, and the science is truly remarkable. A study published in the prestigious Journal of Hypertension found that men who consumed cocoa daily experienced improvements in blood flow that were, and I quote, comparable to some medications. We are talking about a 30% improvement in what doctors call flow-mediated dilatation, which is simply a medical term for how well your arteries can open up on demand. How does it work? Pure cocoa is packed with incredible compounds called flavonoids. These flavonoids are like a tune-up crew for that aging factory inside your blood vessels, helping it produce more of that crucial nitric oxide signal naturally, without side effects. And here's something wonderful that the studies don't always mention. Many gentlemen in my practice who make this a daily habit tell me it does something interesting for their mood. Cocoa contains a chemical called anandamide, the very same bliss molecule your brain produces when you fall in love. It also has phenylethylamine, a natural mood lifter. It helps you get your head in the game, because let's be honest, half of a man's performance is mental. It's about feeling confident, positive, and connected. The key, and this is so important, is that you must use real, unsweetened cocoa powder. Not the sugary hot chocolate mix you make for the grandkids on a snow day. I'm talking about the dark, rich, almost black powder in the baking aisle. That's where all the power is. Just 1 single teaspoon stirred into your morning coffee is all you need. If you find it a bit bitter at first, add a touch of a natural sweetener like stevia or monk fruit, which won't spike your blood sugar. It turns your coffee into a rich, delicious mocha that is actively working to restore your body's youthful function from the inside out. If you're surprised that something as simple as chocolate, in its pure form, can be this powerful, please comment wow below. Ingredient number 3. Maca powder. The hormone balancer. We've talked about blood sugar and blood flow. Now, we need to address the command center. Your body's entire hormonal system. The system that governs your energy, your drive, your libido, and your muscle mass, is run by a command center in your brain, specifically the hypothalamus and pituitary glands. For decades, this system has run like a well-oiled machine. But as we age, the communication between the command center and the factories, your testes, can start to weaken. The signals become less frequent, less powerful. The result is a slow, steady decline in your body's own production of testosterone. This is the core reason why many men over 60 experience a noticeable drop in their drive, a persistent feeling of fatigue, and that frustrating sense that their inner fire is dimming. This isn't just about feeling tired. It's about waking up and not having that same motivation you once had. It's about going to the gym and feeling like your strength gains are harder to come by. It's a deep, systemic issue that affects how you feel as a man. You see, your body is designed to be a self-regulating system. The problem is that over time, the regulator itself can get worn down. This is where Maca comes in, and it's fundamentally different from anything else we've discussed. For thousands of years, high in the Andes Mountains of Peru, indigenous cultures have called this root the Viagra of the Andes. But it doesn't work like a drug at all. Instead of forcing a temporary chemical reaction in the body, Maca works as something called an adaptogen. Think of it not as a new set of instructions, but as a master technician sent to repair the original communication lines. Maca nourishes and supports the command center, your hypothalamus and pituitary, helping your body restore its own natural, balanced hormone production. It doesn't add hormones. It helps your body make more of its own. The scientific evidence is compelling. A landmark study from 2009 showed that men who took a daily dose of Maca for 12 weeks reported significant improvements in both desire and performance. Another study found it improved sperm production and motility. The effects aren't like a lightning bolt. They are gradual, steady, and sustainable, because you're healing the system from the top down. I remember one of my patients so clearly, a 54-year-old history teacher named Robert. He was a brilliant man, but he confessed to me that he felt like he was living in a constant state of mental fog. He said, "Dr. Warren, it's like the lights are on, but they're dimmed." He started adding Maca to his morning routine. It took a few weeks, but when I saw him next, he was different. He sat up straighter. He spoke with more energy. He told me, and I'll never forget this, it's like someone finally turned the lights back on upstairs. Everything just feels clearer. That's the power of restoring your body's natural balance. The way to use it is simple. Just 1 teaspoon of Maca powder in your coffee. Now, there are a few types. If you're just starting, I recommend looking for yellow Maca, as it has the mildest, slightly nutty, almost butterscotch-like flavor. Black Maca is considered the most potent for energy and stamina, while red Maca is often recommended for prostate health. But yellow is the perfect place to begin. Please remember, this is a food, not a drug. The benefits build over time. Give it at least 2 to 3 weeks to really notice a difference in your energy and drive. It's a small investment in patience for a real, sustainable improvement in how you feel, day in and day out. If you believe in the power of helping your body heal and regulate itself, please take a moment to comment balance below. Ingredient number 4. Coconut oil. The hormone fuel. Alright, let's talk about a mistake that an entire generation of well-meaning men made. Do you remember the 1980s and 90s? The era of the low-fat and no-fat craze. We were all told that fat was the enemy. We switched to skim milk, ate fat-free snacks, and trimmed every last bit of fat off our meat, thinking we were doing the absolute best thing for our hearts. We were following the advice of the experts at the time. The problem is, we were unintentionally starving our bodies of the single most important raw material needed to produce testosterone. Here is the fundamental biological truth. Your body cannot create testosterone out of thin air. It needs building blocks. And the primary building block for all major sex hormones, including testosterone, is cholesterol and healthy dietary fats. For decades, many of us have been on a low-fat diet, essentially telling our body's hormone factories to build houses without giving them any lumber or bricks. Is it any wonder that production has slowed down? This becomes critically important after age 60 because our body's efficiency at producing hormones is already declining. If we then fail to provide it with the necessary fuel, that decline can become a steep drop. The symptoms are all too common. That mid-morning energy crash that sends you reaching for donuts. The brain fog makes it hard to focus on a task. The feeling that your performance in the gym and in the bedroom is just a shadow of what it once was. You're not just running out of energy. You're running out of the raw fuel needed to create energy and hormonal power. This is where a simple teaspoon of coconut oil can change the game. Coconut oil is unique because it's packed with a special type of fat called medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. Unlike other fats that have to go through a long, complicated digestive process, MCTs are like premium, high-octane fuel. They get sent straight from your gut to your liver, where they are immediately converted into clean, usable energy for your body and brain. But it gets better. Studies have shown that a diet rich in these healthy fats directly supports testosterone production. One compelling study found that men who consumed MCTs had testosterone levels that were 20% higher than those of men who consumed other types of fats. I've seen the results in men who make this part of their routine. They stop describing their energy as a spike and a crash. Instead, they call it steady. They feel a sense of clear-headed focus that lasts all morning. They call it their bulletproof coffee. The fat in the coconut oil actually slows down the absorption of the caffeine, so instead of a jolt, you get a smooth, sustained release of energy for hours. Over time, you're not just getting a temporary boost. You are consistently supplying your body with the exact building blocks it has been craving for years. Now, there is a trick to this, and it is non-negotiable. You cannot just stir a spoonful of coconut oil into your coffee. If you do, you'll have a disgusting oil slick floating on top. You have to blend it. Use a regular blender, or even one of those little handheld milk frothers. Blending it for just 20 seconds emulsifies the oil, creating a rich, creamy, latte-like drink that is honestly more delicious than regular coffee. One important tip: start slow. Begin with just half a teaspoon for the first week. This gives your gallbladder time to adjust to processing this healthy fat in the morning. Then you can work your way up to a full teaspoon or even a tablespoon. It's a simple, luxurious tasting habit that refuels your entire system. If you are ready to give your body the premium fuel it needs to function at its best, please comment fuel below. Ingredient number 5. Ginger. The circulatory fire starter. Let's talk about two silent enemies that are constantly at work inside the body of every man over 60. Inflammation and oxidative stress. Now, these are terms you might hear thrown around, but I want you to understand what they truly mean for your masculine health. Think of chronic low-grade inflammation as a tiny, smoldering fire in your joints, your arteries, and your organs. You might not even feel it, but it's always there, slowly damaging tissues and restricting flow. Oxidative stress is like rust. It's the natural byproduct of living, breathing, and turning food into energy, and over time, this rusting process wears down your body's most vital systems. Nowhere is this more critical than in a man's testicles. This might sound strange, but your testicles are incredibly sensitive to their environment. They are under a constant, multi-front attack from the modern world. The heat from sitting for long periods, the pressure from tight clothing, and especially this internal process of oxidative stress. For your body to produce testosterone optimally, your testicles need to be kept at a temperature slightly cooler than the rest of your body. When they get overheated or stressed by this internal rusting, testosterone production can drop significantly. It's a silent, invisible process, but the effects are very real. The symptoms often manifest as a general feeling of being sluggish, poor circulation in your hands and feet, and that overall sense that your system just isn't running with the same power it once did. The core issue is that as we age, our body's natural antioxidant defenses, our internal rust-proof coating, begin to weaken. We become more susceptible to this daily wear and tear. The smoldering fire of inflammation can become more widespread, and the rust of oxidative stress can accumulate faster. This is a fundamental challenge of aging that directly impacts a man's vitality at its very source. But what if you could add something to your morning routine that acts as both a powerful firefighter and a potent rust-proofer? For over 5,000 years, cultures all over the world have revered ginger as a medicine. It's not just a spice to add flavor to your food, it's a circulatory fire starter. Ginger contains incredible active compounds called gingerols and shogales. Think of these as a rapid response team for your body. They are potent anti-inflammatories that help quench that smoldering fire in your blood vessels, allowing them to relax and open up. But the science gets even more exciting when it comes to male hormones. A groundbreaking study from 2012, published in the Tichret Medical Journal, showed that men who took a daily ginger supplement for 3 months saw their testosterone levels increase by an average of 17.7%. That is a significant, measurable improvement. Researchers believe ginger achieves this in 2 ways. First, by increasing the production of something called luteinizing hormone, which is the specific signal from your brain that tells your testicles to produce more testosterone. Second, it acts as a powerful antioxidant shield, protecting the delicate testosterone-producing cells from the damage of oxidative stress. It essentially cleans the rust off the factory machinery, allowing it to run efficiently again. I often tell my patients that adding ginger to their coffee is like the difference between a gentle alarm clock and a fire alarm. It doesn't jolt you with caffeine, but it wakes up your entire system with a warm, spicy kick. It gets the blood moving. You can feel it. It reminds me of the old wisdom that has been passed down for generations. Long before we had clinical trials, people simply knew that ginger made them feel more alive, more vigorous. It was a foundational part of their health, and now science is finally showing us exactly why it works. Putting this into practice is wonderfully simple. You can use a small slice of fresh ginger, about the size of a quarter, and just drop it into your hot coffee. Or, for convenience, you can use a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger powder. Fresh ginger is said to have more of the volatile oils that give you that immediate circulatory boost, while the powder is more concentrated in the compounds that provide long-term benefits. I personally like to use fresh when I can, but both are incredibly effective. A small word of caution: ginger is a mild blood thinner, so if you are currently on prescription blood thinning medication, it's always a wise idea to have a quick chat with your own doctor before making it a daily habit. But for most men, it is an incredibly safe and powerful way to ignite your internal fire each morning. To honor the timeless power of this natural remedy, please take a moment to comment with the word natural below. So, we've walked through these 5 incredible natural powerhouses: cinnamon, cocoa, maca, coconut oil, and ginger. Each one is simple. Each one is backed by science. And each one addresses the root causes of why we, as men, can start to feel a decline in our energy and vitality as we get older. But I want to bring this all back to a real person. Let's go back to John, that 58-year-old contractor from Ohio I told you about at the beginning. The man who felt like he was running on fumes, and that his best years were already in the rearview mirror. When he first started, he was skeptical. He chose just one thing to start: cinnamon. Just that tiny change. Then he added cocoa. Eventually, he found a combination that worked for him. Today, John is thriving. And when I say thriving, I don't just mean he isn't tired in the afternoon anymore. He told me, with a genuine smile that reached his eyes, that he now has the energy to chase his grandkids around the backyard after a full day's work. He said it's not just about feeling better physically. It's about feeling like himself again. Feeling present. Feeling capable. That is the profound difference that these small, consistent morning choices can make. Gentlemen, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You do not have to accept decline as a normal part of getting older. It is not mandatory. The power to reclaim your energy, to refuel your body, and to feel that vibrant sense of masculine well-being. That power is not in some expensive, complicated regimen. It is in the small choices you make every single morning, right in your own kitchen. It's about deciding that you are worth the effort of adding one simple scoop to your coffee. As we wrap up our time together, we've explored these critical ingredients that can truly transform our golden years. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself this week after watching this video? It could be as simple as, I will try cinnamon in my coffee tomorrow, or I am going to buy some real cocoa powder this weekend. Please share your personal commitment in the comments below. Reading your commitment will inspire other men here to take that first step alongside you. Let's hold each other accountable. And if you found real value and encouragement in our conversation today, show your support by giving this video a like. It's a small click for you, but it tells the world that this message is important and helps it reach other men who need to hear it. To ensure you continue on this journey with us, and never miss another video full of practical, life-changing wisdom, hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community of men dedicated to supporting each other and living our best lives, together. Finally, think of one person, a friend, a brother, a buddy from work, who needs to hear this message. Please, share it with them. You never know, you might just change their life. Until next time, I'm Dr. Emily Warren, reminding you that small changes always lead to big results. Stay strong, gentlemen.